Hello, this is China Gateway 360. Today, we're diving straight into a real-world case study. We're looking at Synapsitech, an Indian IT firm, and exactly what it took for them to set up a corporate bank account for their new WFOE in Shanghai. Now, going off the bank's standard checklist, Synapsitech figured they'd only need to pull together about 20 to 25 routine documents. It sounded pretty straightforward, right? Just your standard, everyday administrative legwork. Well, the reality was a whole different story. As the compliance reviews dug deeper, that initial innocent-looking checklist absolutely ballooned. They ended up needing 62 individual documents. And the whole process didn't just take a couple of weeks. It dragged on for a full 4 months and cost them around 68,000 RMB. So, Section 1, the authentication bottleneck. How exactly does a standard account application morph into this massive document engineering project? The core obstacle here is the cross-border document authentication. It's a pretty brutal 3-step chain. First, every official record from the parent company needs local notarization back in India. Then, they get sent to the Ministry of External Affairs for an apostille. And finally, they require professional certified translation once they reach Shanghai. These steps are tightly interlocked. Make one tiny error, like a missed signature on a single page, and you are literally starting that multi-week process all over again. Moving on to Section 2, the parallel workstream strategy. Faced with this administrative tug-of-war, Synapsitech didn't just sit around and passively wait. Instead, they built a highly structured approach. They actually used Airtable to set up a real-time tracking system, breaking the job down into 4 simultaneous work streams. The Shanghai team tackled the local Chinese WFE documents. The Bangalore team gathered the parent company records. A dedicated coordinator handled the notarization and apostille, and the Shanghai team managed the final translation and submission. And here's a crucial detail. They assigned their Shanghai general manager as the single authorized representative to deal with the bank. That one move cut out so much potential miscommunication. Let's look at their timeline, which gives you a great sense of the actual rhythm here. You have the initial consultation in week 2, gathering the documents by week 6, pushing through those grueling authentication and correction cycles all the way to week 14, and finally, account activation hits in week 16. It's the sheer volume of documents and those rigid government processing times that completely dictate this pace. Which brings us to Section 3, Essential Lessons Learned. So, what can you actually take away from Synapsitech's hard-won experience? We've boiled it down to a few core recommendations. First off, you need to budget 3 to 4 months into your timeline right out of the gate. Second, and I really can't stress this enough, start the notarization and apostille process for your core documents early. Do this before the bank even finalizes their checklist. Also, like we mentioned, stick to one consistent local authorized rep for bank communications. And finally, please invest in professional certified translation. Unqualified translations will just get your documents rejected, and honestly, the cost of the time you lose far outweighs any translation fees you might have saved. Synapsitech's CFO, Vikram Nair, really hit the nail on the head when he said, you cannot get back the weeks you lose waiting for government stamps. Planning ahead and running these processes in parallel is the only way you're going to ensure an efficient landing in the Chinese market. So the question is your enterprise truly prepared for the administrative reality of doing business in China? This is China Gateway 360, bringing you thorough, practical analysis. See you next time.